So yesterday, I had the opportunity to go on the vault with Bobby and Sarah. Shout out to them because they got the Midas touch over there, because literally everything that they do on their channel, it turns into gold. But they brought up a very interesting topic, and it was around the wide receivers for the Baltimore Ravens. It talked about the current group of wide receivers, even after adding DeAndre Hopkins, but it was about Todd McShay's mock draft and the possibility of the Baltimore Ravens drafting Tetairoa, McMillan, T-Mac. And first, when we talked about it, I was like, I would be shocked if the Ravens did that. Obviously, they got Zay. Obviously, they got Rashad Bateman. They just signed DeAndre Hopkins. They brought back Tylan Wallace. Still got Tez Walker. Could the Baltimore Ravens take another receiver? I was like, nah, I couldn't see them doing that. But then I thought about it. I thought about it overnight. I thought about it this morning. And then, I don't know, man. Then what I did, I made the mistake of watching film on him, and that made it worse for me. So I would still be shocked if the Baltimore Ravens did it, but right now, the way that I'm feeling about it, I honestly don't think I would be mad. And let's talk about it. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on, and leave a like on the video because it helps out a ton. So in Todd McShay's mock draft 2.0, because when Bobby first brought this up, he was like, oh, Todd McShay had the Ravens selecting T-Mac. And I was thinking, whoa, is his mock draft before or after the signing of DeAndre Hopkins? Because I felt like, all right, if he's got the Ravens selecting T-Mac, then that would be before they signed DeAndre Hopkins. But he said, no, it was after. And this was the following breakdown that Todd McShay gave. He said, I don't think that McMillan will go as high as many people seem to think. And I have seen a lot of people say that he's dropping. But anyway, he says, but I also realize that I'm outside the consensus here. In this case, the Ravens would cash in on McMillan's fall, and adding another wide receiver could be huge for this offense. Let's continue. DeAndre Hopkins is a one-year solution who comes with the potential for disappointment. Neither Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman have a long-term contract. A young prospect that Hopkins could help develop could be a great recipe for success. Now, something that we talked about on their channel yesterday, I said that, you know how Ravens always say, oh, BPA, best player available. But it's also a mix of best player available along with need. And the way that I was feeling yesterday, I was thinking like, no, Ravens, they don't really like need wide receiver like that, especially at 27. When you got 3 wide receivers right now, and 3 either have been or currently are 3 number 1 wide receivers on your team right now. What would you be doing adding another wide receiver to the mix? But then as I explained, like, and we've talked about it on here plenty of times before, this offense where the Baltimore Ravens are right here, right now, this offense is obviously running back friendly. Running backs be going off in this offense. They are tight end friendly. We know how Marc Andrews and Isaiah likely do. But now this offense is wide receiver friendly. We are no longer the team where if a wide receiver gets drafted there, that's a wrap. Your career, you ain't going to make it out alive from Baltimore. No, we're not that anymore. And when you see what the Baltimore Ravens have done with a Zay Flowers, when you see what the Baltimore Ravens have done with a Rashad Bateman, it took a little time now, but you see what they've done with a Rashad Bateman. The Baltimore Ravens, their involvement of wide receivers in this offense, and now their development of wide receivers in this our offense. This is crazy to say after all them years, but their development of wide receivers in our offense is taking off to new heights. So if the Baltimore Ravens were to draft T-Mac at 27, I would be shocked, but at the same time, I honestly wouldn't be too mad. And when we look at, again, what Todd McShay had to say about it, let's break it down piece by piece. He said, I don't think McMillan will go as high as many people seem to think. And again, yeah, we all have seen that he's been dropping on a lot of people's boards. He said, in this case, the Ravens will cash in on McMillan's fall. So he's fallen, and Ravens could, boom, take him off the board. And he said, and adding another wide receiver could be huge for this offense. It could be. And I saw somebody say, like, look, I don't want to go into the playoffs again with it being Anthony Miller and Tez Walker as our guys. And I thought about that. I think about how T-Mac could, again, we always talk about upgrading. If you add even more talent, you upgrade your depth a lot. And I get it. I know Baltimore Ravens, we're needing a pass rush. I know the Baltimore Ravens, we still needing a cornerback. But I'm just thinking about it. I'm thinking, hey, if it is really BPA. Anyway, continuing. He also said DeAndre Hopkins is a one-year solution. That part is true. DeAndre Hopkins, 1 year, $6 million deal. He's here to be a plug-and-play receiver for this year. Then after that, he'll be a free agent. So he's obviously not a long-term solution. And obviously with his age, he's not a long-term solution for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, we do hope to see that little young D-Hop of old, but he's not a long-term plan for the Ravens. And then when you think about Zay Flowers, or real quick, let's stick with DeAndre Hopkins first. He said DeAndre Hopkins is a one-year solution who comes with the potential for disappointment. That part, I'm honestly not worried about. I'm not worried about DeAndre Hopkins disappointing this season. Could he? Anything is possible, but as long as he's healthy, I think DeAndre Hopkins will be just fine. Again, because we know what his role is. Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman, those are your guys. DeAndre Hopkins, he's your next man up. So with his role and his ability, as long as he stays healthy, I think he will be just fine. Just fine. So I literally have no worries about DeAndre Hopkins at all. I don't think you should either. But if you do, I get it. But anyway, he said neither Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman have a long-term contract. That is technically true. It's technically true because Zay Flowers, we got him right now for 2 more years. Technically, obviously, they could pick up the 5th-year option, and it could be 3 more years because he's going into year 3. So he has year 3, year 4, and then the 5th-year option available. If the Ravens choose to go that route, we'll see. Only time will tell. So far, if he keeps up this pace, I think that they will. And with Rashad Bateman, his contract goes to the end of Zay Flowers' 4-year contract because they got Rashad Bateman for 2 more years as well. So they don't have a receiver for the long term. They got receivers for the next couple of years, but not the long term, technically. So he's right about that. But if they were to draft T-Mac, then if they were to draft McMillan, then he would be on a 4-year deal with the 5th-year option. So that would give you somebody who could make an impact this year. Again, you see how Ravens are doing when it comes to wide receivers. And he would give the Baltimore Ravens something. I hate that I'm starting to fall in love with the idea. I really do. I would try not to, but y'all know me. It's tough, man. It's tough. But he would give the Baltimore Ravens something that they have just been missing for a while, and he would give that to them at wide receiver. It wouldn't be a tight end, because when we talk about a big body, a big catch radius, Isaiah Likely got that, Marc Andrews got that, but those guys are tight ends. So I don't want to call their route tree limited, but what they do tight end stuff. Now, I know they move both of them around and whatnot, but they're tight ends. They're not wide receivers. McMillan is a wide receiver. And get this man is 6'4", 6'5", about 219, 220. But he plays big. He plays big, but at the same time, when I was watching film on him this morning, I said, hold up now. That boy obviously got the stride. And if you hit him in stride, then ain't nobody catching him. But this man a little shifty too. And another thing too that I really appreciate, he's not a body catcher. He catches with his hands. And I know that can sound so, is it a receiver? You're supposed to catch with his hands. He's not a body catcher. He catches with his hands. There's some receivers that sometimes they make some body catches, and it happens every now and then. Stuff happens, I get it. But he catches with it. Anyway, that's your jump ball guy. He'll go up and get it. But he's shifty at 6'5". He can make some people miss too. What, like 6'5" receiver doing that stuff like that? Like making people miss like that? Like, and when I was watching, I was like, oh my goodness, thinking about him in a Ravens uniform doing that. Because we got Zay Flowers. You know how shifty Zay Flowers is. Then, hey, don't sleep on Rashad Bateman either. Rashad Bateman be making people miss too. But then if you added a McMillan to what we got now, and just thinking about the potential, thinking about the possibility, it just made me smile, man. So I hate that I'm falling in love with the idea. And again, I know Baltimore Ravens got other needs, especially needs that if they were addressed via the draft, they may get even more playing time than a McMillan. But look, man, I wouldn't be mad at it. at all. I really wouldn't be. Because again, it would be a move that could impact the right here, right now, but it could also impact the future as well. So Ravens got about a month and change to decide what they're going to do. We're going to see. And we'll even see if the opportunity even presents itself, because he could be gone. By the time the Ravens get on the clock, 27, he could be gone. Or if he's dropping, and the Ravens like really looking at him, because Eric DeCosta talked about it. Oh yeah, we've been looking. We took some swings, we took some tries for the big X receiver, but it ain't worked out thus far, and it hasn't. And they took some swings, not early in the draft, but they've taken some swings here and there. You got guys like recently, Miles Boykin. They tried for him. That was a 3rd round pick. That obviously didn't work out. They had guys like Darren Waller. Because remember, he was a wide receiver. He was a wide receiver. And Ravens, they ain't know how to use him at wide receiver. And then we saw the rest of that story. They switched him to tight end. Worked out for him well there. He went on with the Raiders, and y'all know the rest of the story. But wide receiver though, no. Didn't work out for him at wide receiver with the Ravens. You think about just a lot of random guys: Clarence Moore, Demetrius Williams, somebody who Sarah brought up yesterday when we were talking about it. She brought up Tommy Streeter. Tommy Streeter, 6'5", from the University of Miami. I remember I used to use him on Madden like crazy. I used to put him as my number 1 receiver in Madden because he was fast and he was tall. I was like, he was glitchy. His overall rating was low, but that boy, hey, he could play on Madden for me for sure. But so Ravens have taken some swings for sure, but it hasn't been no 1st round draft pick swings like that. It hasn't been no high picks, and they've done some stuff in free agency here and there, but as far as drafting, it just hasn't worked out for them. But if they took a swing like this right here, right now, they are in such a good position with how they run their football team right now, how they run their offense, and just how far their offense has come. If this was still a Greg Roman offense, then I would say no. If this was still Ravens offenses of the past, then I would say no. But this offense, the way that they do things right now, and the way that they're able to establish weapons from a lot of different, they're able to make so many different people weapons, make so many different people problems. The pick your poison thing is real. The fact that the Baltimore Ravens are doing that currently, then this could be a no-brainer. So now we reach my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to take part in it, you can send an email on teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the patrons, you can send a DM directly on Patreon. Let's get straight into it. First question, and only question, came from my guy, Marc JG. He said, patience wearing thin. Let's see what my guy's talking about. He said, what's going on, Ingraven? What's up, Marc? He said, hope all is well with you and the fam as always. I'm glad you're slowly starting to take your flowers, because I speak for me and Team Keep It Clean when I say you're the best and different from all the other creators. We're not the best at all. I guarantee you that we are not the best. We're different, yeah, but everybody's different. And that's what I appreciate about the Baltimore, just really YouTube in general, but just the space of creating, because we're all different from one another. Sometimes we got takes that are similar. Sometimes we got takes that are different. But the presentation, what we bring when we speak about the Baltimore Ravens specifically, it's different, and it's done in different ways, and I appreciate that. And we got so much variety when it comes to Ravens content creators, YouTubers, TikTok, all that stuff, man. And it's great, man. It is great to see. It's great to see so many different people flourish. It's great to see so many different channels just booming, doing their thing. And I love it. I love it for everybody. It's so much room for everybody to eat. There's so much room for everybody to grow, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. If you do YouTube, Ravens YouTube, I love you. You know I love you. You already know what time it is. I love you. I love that there ain't no like, oh, man, I don't like this guy. Oh, I don't like that. No, it's love, man. It's all love, man. So, and that's how it should be. Anyway, continuing, he said, I love listening to TTB. Hey, shout out to Trust the Bank. Shout out to them, man. He said, Coach, Sip the Tally, shout out to him. He said, The Vault, we were just talking about them recently. He said, Noah, shout out to For the Flock. He said, Ryan, shout out to my guy Ryan, man. He be holding it down, man. He be spitting too now. I might have to ask him to do a little intro. Anyway, he said, Gabe and Cole Jackson. But shout out to Cole. Cole, that boy, that boy got it, man. And Gabe with the film breakdown too. But anyway, he said, but you stand out because you take your time with your subscribers and listen to us no matter what. as if we're family, and that can never go unnoticed. He said, thank you, bro, and now to my question, LOL. Nah, I appreciate you, man. It's all good. And that's what we always say, though, man. We don't do nothing on here, but just talk. It's y'all. Y'all be asking these fire questions. Y'all be coming up with these fire conversations with through your questions. I'm like, man, I ain't even be thinking about that. So y'all got it, man. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm reading what y'all are saying. That's it. Ain't got nothing to do with me. It's all y'all straight up, man. But happy Purple Friday to you, my friend. Anyway, he said, I look around and Ravens fans are so uneasy and impatient. We've been at this for years. We aren't going to make a big splash unless we absolutely have to. What exactly is our next move? Now, you know, I love a big splash now. Now, what I would love, and we were just talking about McMillan at 27, I would love if the Ravens, they made a big splash at pass rush. Max Crosby gone. Myles Garrett, that was a pipe dream. We knew that was never going to happen, but it would be nice, but we knew it wasn't going to happen. With Trey Hendrickson, it was an outside shot, and Bengals, apparently they trying to re-sign him too. They done re-upped on Jamar Chase. We knew he wasn't going nowhere, but they re-signed T. Higgins too. So, okay. And apparently they trying to re-sign Trey Hendrickson too. Hey, wouldn't be bad on their part. So, as far as pass rushers, as far as a splash at pass rush, it's only one guy left. It's only one guy left. Well, there's Trayvon Walker from the Jaguars too, but there's one guy left, and that would be Mr. Micah Parsons. Now, I know that would take a lot to get him. And hey, he would fit right in though. He loved doing his podcasting thing. You know, Marlo loved doing his podcasting thing too. So he will fit right in. But hey, Marlo, he do his podcast, but he's still a baller. Because that's one thing that a lot of Ravens fans will try to do. A lot of fans do that in general. Like, if your team mess around and lose a game, hey, stop podcasting. You need to stop podcasting. Stop worrying about getting on the microphone so much and getting in front of the camera. You need to go study some film. Oh, boy, fans be so quick with that. And it's like, oh, my goodness, these players are allowed to have lives outside of football, too. But Marlo, he was good at both. So Michael Parsons comes through. We got another podcast on the defense. So it could work out. Anyway, he said the nice thing about the draft is that you can get a great guard on day 2 or 3, and Baltimore has the flexibility to do so now. If Tyler Booker from Bama is there or Donovan Jackson from Ohio State, I take them. They're big maulers who'd make a difference. And we are looking to upgrade that guard position because the way that they signed Ben Cleveland, that deal with no bonuses, no guaranteed money, that lets you know everything that you need to. Anyway, he said, on paper, we have an O-line, but do you trust Voorhees or Cleveland and bringing in that competition? What's that say about how you feel towards them? How would you feel about Nick Samac trying? Oh, I forgot about Nick Samac, the backup center. You know, I never thought about that. But you know Ravens, so don't put it past them to try something like that because they would. They certainly would. Ravens are a team. They are about what's the word I'm looking for? Just really trying to make the most out of, I don't want to say the least, but if they got somebody on the team right now, like a Nick Samac, and they got, hey, we got this competition at guard, you know what? Go try it. Go try it. They willing to take I don't want to say a risk like that, but they willing to try it. Anyway, see, you ahead of the game, though. You could tell you know them Ravens. You know them Ravens because that's something they would do. Cause look at Ben Cleveland. Ben Cleveland was a guard. They tried him at center last year. I think they tried him a little at tackle, too, in the offseason, too. But, hey, anyway, he said, I was thinking we need size at cornerback, but Nate and Marlon are pretty solid with TJ. So who would you rather, Asante Samuel Jr. or Jair Alexander? Man. I wouldn't mind Asante Samuel Jr. Jair Alexander, I wouldn't mind him, too, but I just feel like they couldn't put all their eggs into his basket. They couldn't be like, all right, Jair, you're going to be our other outside corner just because it's health concerns. That's the biggest thing with me. It'll be the health concerns. That'd be the biggest thing I'd be worried about. He said, similar size, one is solid while the other can be locked down. One has missed a career 9 games in 4 years while the other has just missed a lot of time. He said, the boy ain't even put the number again. He just said just straight up a lot of time. Yeah, so we know which one is which. He said, here's a nugget to chew on. Running back is one of the most abused positions in football, and Saquon had a healthy season after changing scenery, and you see his production and the ring. Yeah, he got it. Wish that would have been Derrick Henry with the Ravens, but we know how it went, or really how it didn't go. But yeah, running back, hey, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry showed you. Even Josh Jacobs too with the Packers. they all changed teams and they got paid significantly. And Derrick Henry didn't get paid significantly though. The other two did, but they showed you like, hey, running backs, we still real. We can still make stuff happen. We still make a big difference. He said, I know you've heard Nick Emmanwori, and I'm starting to think he won't be there when we pick, but I'm going to tell you this comp so you have an idea. Imagine if DK Metcalf played defense, and that's all you need to know. Imagine him and Kyle matching up against Pickens and Metcalf. We have the perfect matchups. Okay? Hey, don't forget about my guard Darius now. Now, hopefully he'll stay past April 18th, because that's when that's the deadline for teams to sign him to an offer sheet. So we'll see what happens with that. So, and that could change some stuff too, depending on how that goes. That could change the Baltimore Ravens' need at the safety position. But hopefully he don't go anywhere. He said, I'm going to keep pitching this idea on the edge. I'd sign Von Miller or a vet and let Trenton Simpson play outside linebacker and edge and let the veteran Dr. Rush help him. I like that. Giving him a shot there. I like that. I like that. I think you talked about this before a while ago. As far as the Trent Simpson playing edge. As far as Von Miller, I do expect the Baltimore Ravens to sign. I expect them to sign like a Matt Judon or Zadarius Smith, somebody familiar. If they sign Von Miller, that wouldn't be no surprise either. But I do expect them, like, just wait, hey, any day now, Ravens, because we know it's on the way. Who is it going to be, though? No clue. But we expect them to. He said, which will allow you to still draft a pass rusher. I think we're going to get that guy from Boise State who was barking at Chuck Smith at the Combine, LOL. YouTube it if you haven't seen it. Best way to describe our situation, we have number twos at pass rusher, if that makes sense. We need that Roman Reigns, that dog, so our twos seem like they are balling all the time because we get sacks but crickets at the same time. My goodness. Oh, he said he want them ones. He want them ones. Shout out to you. I see. Anyway, with our pass rushers, that's a good explanation of it. Because just talking about the vault, when we was on there yesterday, they were talking about how with our defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, man, with Zach Orr, I couldn't think of his name, I couldn't remember it real quick, but he was talking about how Ravens do like almost a pass rush by committee. Because they have a lot of different guys contributing. So they still expect to add some more to the pass rush. They do. But yeah, just to have that guy at pass rush, that would be really, really nice for the Baltimore Ravens. Because they right now, they don't have that guy. They got some solid guys. They got some nice guys now, but that guy, like, again, especially, you get a little jealous. You look around like your division immediately. Like, you look around the AFC, like, man, Bengals, Trey Hendricks. Browns, Myles Garrett. Steelers, TJ Watt. Ravens, it's a committee. But anyway, because, yeah, like you mentioned, we get sacks, but it's cricket at the same time. I just feel like it was very inconsistent. Our pass rushers, it's so weird. It's so weird because they'll get sacks, but then they'll be like, hey, where'd they go? Then in the playoffs, it was like, whoa, what's happening here, baby? Anyway, he said, sorry for the lane. It's all good, man. I know when I see your name in the email, I say, oh, yeah, we in for a ride with this one. But no, it's all good, man. Keep doing what you've been doing. He said, Ing, best safe, stay blessed. Stay safe. You and Team Keep It Clean are awesome. Sending love and prayers to all of God's work. God's going to work in many ways, and y'all will have a great day. Appreciate you, my friend. Much love to you, too.